All righty. Good morning, commissioners. Over to you, Chair Harrington.
Morning, Clerk Moss, and welcome everyone to the Tuesday, August 4th, 2026 Washington County Board of Commissioners work session. Clerk Moss, could you please take the roll, please?
Certainly, Madam Chair. Commissioner Snyder.
Here.
Commissioner Treese.
Both of us are here.
Vice Chair Willie.
Yep.
Chair Harrington.
Here. We don't know where Commissioner Fye is. Okay, so first thing on our agenda is board and leadership communication and formal agenda item discussion. So I'm going to dive right in on formal agenda item discussion. First, let me explain some logistics on the HABOD meeting at 10. Does anyone have any questions on that? Okay, so over to the county commission regular business meeting. Item D2 was revised, D6 was revised, and F1 was added. F1, does anyone have any questions on the consent agenda? Okay. The proclamation, Clerk Moss, I assume we have folks all set up on that. Okay. On the public hearing, we have some complicated logistics compared to our usual public hearings. Excuse me, no, not the public hearing. The public hearing will proceed. My note here, if I would just read it, is that for people testifying, Commissioner Fye has now joined us. Folks will have 2 minutes an individual. I am concerned about how many people may testify and the time. So the clerk and I will check in right before this meeting starts, because what I'm thinking is I'd like everyone to have the 2 minutes, but given that we have a full agenda this afternoon, so our business meeting will need to complete by 12:15. I'm going to be checking in with the clerk on who has signed up for testimony, and I think I'll go one of 2 ways. Either for the second public communication, seeing how many are 5 minutes, see if we even have the time for that, or perhaps based upon what it looks like at the beginning of the meeting, just ask the board to eliminate that 5-minute session. So it'll be touch and go. I'll check in with all of the board at the beginning of the meeting. Now on the action item, this is where we have some complicated logistics. I will be repeating the logistics at the meeting. So as you know, the bill before the state legislature in 2026 to update the Oregon government ethics laws was not signed into law. It was vetoed. So we're left with a little bit of an interesting situation. This proposed ordinance 917 will have a financial impact on each of the commissioners or our relatives, all of whom may have cars and therefore subject to the vehicle registration fee. Given that the Oregon Ethics Commission Guide for Public Officials that we received at the very end of June has new guidance for us to follow. And this guidance requires that only the commission can decide what class exceptions exist.
The Ethics Commission.
What did I say?
You just said the commission.
Yes, the Ethics Commission. Thank you for that clarification. Not the Board of Commissioners. So as such, we are not allowed to discuss the proposal as a pick one in private, or nor are we allowed to discuss it in the meeting, even though it's a public meeting. In addition, we will each have to declare an actual conflict of interest. And then it gets even more complicated because to vote even on the first read, we have to stop after the rule of five. I mean, the rule of three, excuse me, out of five.
I
So,
don't understand.
so we usually vote to read by title only,
Right.
and we all just do a voice vote. With the new guidance, we can only vote up to three
Until you get enough.
until you get a majority.
Oh,
And
okay.
this will apply both for the first read and the second read and vote.
I guess I didn't understand that part. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Sure, I want to briefly talk about that because
Sure.
I mean, the way this is headed now, I'm
the whole thing or just the first read?
the whole thing, but the first read, I mean, it applies to all of this. What I'm gathering from this, and I'd be curious what county council has to say about this. In no circumstance should we be sort of discussing this pretty important public policy matter. So that would have meant even in the work sessions that we had leading up to it. And I
No, we had a work session before we got the new guidance.
sure, but if it had happened in the opposite order,
I check in with county council as soon as we get this.
yeah. So I mean, this is really to me a basic fundamental principle around open meetings and having us doing our work in public. I don't get it. Like we're now saying, maybe you can clarify for me, would we have been able to have a discussion about the topic if the guidance had come first?
No, we wouldn't have. We would have had to,
So we just can't do these kind of public
wait,
policies.
no. In the information we have, we would have to go to the commission for a class exception. And
To then have the discussion.
correct.
Right, so the fix for this, outside of a broader fix to the Ethics Commission's interpretation of the application of the class exception, is to get these class exceptions approved by the Ethics Commission. The trouble is that the new guidance saying only they, and cautioning about individual public bodies determining they're in a class, is to go to them and say, there should be a class exception for this decision for general fees and charges. But it takes about 60 days to get a class exception from them, they caution. So the guidance came out in June of how they're implementing the exception. We didn't have time. The correction in the future will be to ask for those class exceptions, and the Office of County Council will take that on, looking broadly at the general class where this issue might arise, and ask for those exceptions.
At least 60 days.
Yeah, so let me be clear. We got the guidance, not the beginning of June. We got it the last week of June. Okay. I immediately got it to county council. We had our work session on this topic before we received this new guidance. Okay. So and in addition, we gave direction to try and get this done in a timely fashion because of the conditions that we went over in that June 23rd, I think it was, or whatever the date was for that topic. So we wanted to get it done. And so we're on track to get it done, but it's still inside that 60-day window. Well, by a day for the second action. So county council is now notified and will be on the lookout for anything that's related to fees. This has to do with money, not all public policy, but any public policy that institute fees that we or our members of household or relatives may be paying.
It's not just fees. Could be any any benefit or detriment, avoiding a detriment that is financial in nature.
Correct.
Well,
Any kind-
financial, that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So the only financial other than budget benefit that I know of is fees.
And my question, I have two questions. One, if we were currently holding the meetings that we held at city councils and those types of things, would those have to go through the same process? Because those people would be paying the same.
They didn't vote. They weren't voting.
Okay, so it was
Just
just
to do with
awareness
voting.
that you were, yeah, so it's only when we vote.
If you
Okay,
read the guide, it's
Take
all
it
about
back.
voting.
I'm trying to put this in. Thank you. I understand this about voting. What about when we vote on levies?
You'd have to do the same analysis.
So that was my next.
So they'll be going and asking.
We're a payer of levies.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Courtney, if I follow you correctly, when the chair calls the action item to read by title only, each individually, we abstain from that vote.
So what will happen is,
And-
you'll have
and-
to,
Okay, and read the statements you sent us in the email.
you'll declare a conflict of interest because there's a financial impact to you or your relatives or members of your household. So your decision creates a financial impact.
And
But then there's a minimum vote exception that says when action is required to move an item forward, the minimum amount of votes to move it forward, either affirmatively or negatively to end it, can be taken.
So the recusing part is from discussions,
Correct.
not the vote that we are about to take on this morning.
That's required to make an action. Yes.
hopefully you've all read the two emails that
Mhm.
Courtney has sent on this matter.
Is the left to right vote starting with me or starting with Commissioner Fine? I just left to right, which direction from what perspective,
It's whatever the clerk usually does.
which is,
Usually starts
Depends
your
on
end.
motions. I'll probably start with Commissioner Fye,
okay.
go across, always with vice chair and then the chair is last.
Just so there's no surprises, this is a matter that I intend to vote
You're not
no.
allowed to discuss it. You're not allowed to discuss it at all. You're not allowed to explain your vote at all.
Okay.
All we get to do is vote. That's it.
Yeah,
It's
but I'm-
aggravating. You're not allowed to say anything.
Okay, let me put it differently because I do need to get guidance from our attorney here. When we're making the statement that you provided to us in our emails that says, I have an actual conflict of interest. The conflict arises because the proposed vehicle registration fee would apply to me and my relatives who own vehicles registered in Washington County. Because this is an actual conflict of interest, I'm recusing myself from any discussion of this matter, and then I cast my vote as I see fit.
Well, after you declare, we're going to pause and let everyone declare their conflicts. Then,
One by one.
yes, and then the chair will ask for a motion because that is a required step to take action. That'll happen. And then she'll roll call. And as soon as we get to either 3 yes or no, then the matter ends for today.
Thank you. I'm very clear now, and
There's no discussion
Correct.
when we cast our vote.
Correct.
That's right.
Okay.
And there's no reason to say anything about recusal either.
it says in the sentence here. That
From
Courtney
deliberation and
provided from us.
discussion.
It's in the
Oh.
email.
I see that now.
Recusing from discussion or deliberating, not from
Voting.
making the minimal amount of votes in
Got it.
whatever order the clerk calls.
Got it.
So, another,
I mean,
because how do we explain to the public how we arrived the no or the yes?
We're not allowed to.
I agree. It's complicated. And I want to remind you here that ethical obligations are personal. to each of us. Everyone in the room is a public official. So I have given some guidance based on the understanding in the public ethics law, but these are matters that have complicated public service, and they're what we're left with at this stage.
You can say something like, due to the ethics laws, I am not making comments.
That's right. Okay. That's why I think that I'm recusing myself from any discussion of this matter. Sounds a bit lawyerly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're getting this. So when I was reading the materials, like the discussion part wasn't clear to me. I like recusing myself from any discussion. Any discussion caught my attention, which led me to review them. So is that like interpretation, or is there a clear where we can pull?
It's in the ethics laws and in the guide explained.
It's in the guide that we each received the end of.
Yeah, but I'm not understanding the public responsibility upon us to explain. I didn't find that in there.
Yeah.
So
again, this is limited to financial impacts. So not every public policy position, but when you're making decisions, taking actions that have financial impacts.
In the future, the county council will seek a decision from the ethics commission for a class exception.
Right. Which
That would then allow us to have these discussions in the future.
And then,
That couldn't happen in the timeline that this is being acted on.
Can we move on, folks? Are we done with this?
I am. I'm done.
Great. So as far as I can tell, that's everything we needed to check in on for today's business meeting. So next, why don't we go to leadership communication?
good morning. This discussion that we had is a preview of things to come. I'll be spending some time with you on Thursday and training on these issues and more in the government ethics law. So this is a good little primer for us. Other than that, I just wanted to let your board know that I will be away from the office the half day on Friday. I will be available, but I will not be physically on site if you stop by. We will have several attorneys in this space if you need something, or we have visitors. That's all for me today.
You, Ms. Angie?
I do. Good morning, Chair and Board. Just in advance, I will apologize. I may be just right on time on Tuesdays for the rest of the summer because I need to do parent duty and drop my daughter off at volleyball in the mornings. And dropping off teenagers, their schedules don't always align with the parents' speediness, I'll just say. So first, let me start with a heat and smoke advisory update. With this week's forecast, increased air temperatures and decrease in air quality, many of our departments, including land use and transportation, are initiating policies to implement the Oregon OSHA heat and air quality guidelines. Departments, including LUT Operations Division, will be closely monitoring conditions and adjusting crew assignments and schedules as needed. This can include such examples as additional breaks, drinking plenty of water, and paying attention to exertion levels to minimize risk that these two environmental factors could increase. With that said, members of the public may see crew members working more slowly or taking more breaks. If you get inquiries about these or have your own observations, please share that we are protecting our staff from heat and smoke during this inclement weather. In addition to LUT and other service departments, the Homeless Services team is likely planning to activate additional inclement weather shelters this afternoon through Wednesday and possibly longer if conditions don't improve this week. Emergency management has also begun hosting multi-agency coordinating calls this morning in our response over the next few days.
Can I ask you a question about that? it's more specifically on the air quality. I remember with the wildfire smoke we had in 2020, it seemed somewhat thicker to me. And we were advised then to wear masks because of the particulate matter. I have assumed, looking at the DEQ air quality index, like this morning it was 111 in the Beaverton area. So I wore a mask when I went in and outside. I don't know for our crews if that's the right indicator to use for advisement on particulate matter with masks, with smoky air, or if there's something else to look at for our crews.
Thank you for that question. I may not have the right language just coming off the tip of my tongue. Looking back at that time, we were in hazardous air quality conditions. We are not at that point.
No, we're just unhealthy.
We are unhealthy. And so individuals that have underlying health conditions, asthma, other conditions need to be especially careful, and that is where some individuals may move slower, may need additional breaks, and so it is more on an individual level at this point.
Okay, thank you for helping me understand. And make sure workforce is got the support they need to be healthy.
Yes, and also providing safety and security for community members as well. There are also some events that are starting to be canceled, such as national night outs and others. So no matter whom the entity is, I know all of our partners are taking this very seriously.
I've got two of them tonight. So Cornelius Bank, so I'm assuming, are they making the decision or is the sheriff's office making the decision?
We will get that information to you.
I texted Caprice this morning about this, and I've had some other discussions. The Hillsborough Police and Fire are not going to be supporting National Night Out, but that doesn't mean that the events in the neighborhoods won't continue, but you won't see the sheriff or the fire department there. I know that piece. And I think that it's under decision making right now at the sheriff's office.
And just as I'm a resident of Beaverton, I know that City of Beaverton canceled their national night outs. However, some neighborhoods are still making a determination to hold them. So that's why I really want to err on caution and not make just
blankets.
Yep, a blanket statement.
Hot dogs and hamburgers.
So check your schedules. I wanted to provide an update just on the Washington County Fair regarding an email that you have in your inbox from Sheriff Caprice Massey. As your board is well aware, the operations of the fair fall under the governance and oversight of the Fair Board. So I am providing this update on behalf of the sheriff and because there have been public comments around Washington County. But I am not involving myself in the operations of the fair in my comments. In preparation for the event each year, the fair conducts a thorough safety and security review as part of their annual planning process. They base this on the many years of the operations of the fair and take this very seriously in a one Washington County approach and a multi-jurisdictional approach. As part of the planning process, there was a decision made in partnership with the fair to use the camera trailers, cameras. The cameras support public safety throughout the event in the following ways. The security cameras are placed to monitor high traffic areas, deter criminal activity, and support timely responses to incidents. These cameras served multiple public safety purposes, including providing early visibility on emerging issues, aiding in locating missing children, and helping deter criminal activity. To support situation awareness in high traffic areas, the investigations division deployed 5 camera trailers 2 fair entrances, the back corner of the carnival area, the center of the carnival area, and the concert venue. The incident management team, also known as the acronym IMT, staff monitored all cameras in the command post. Automated license plate readers, also known as ALPR technology, was not used or activated on any cameras deployed at the fair. In my comments, you will hear that I said cameras. The public commonly says flock cameras in conjunction with the license plate readers. The sheriff's office was using the camera technology to ensure safety and security of the fairgrounds. Overall, the public safety outcomes this year were notably strong. There were no gang-related incidents or fights. Calls for service were at their lowest in the last several years, and personnel received significant positive feedback from attendees regarding their sense of safety. And so I would just ask that you refer to the email in your inbox, and you can contact Sheriff Massey if you have any additional questions, but I wanted to make sure this information was also available to the public. And that concludes my update.
Thank you very much. I'm quite dismayed to learn of the degree of negativity and false information propagating via social media. And I really appreciate the fine public service of all the Washington County employees, including our elected sheriff, in working on behalf of the community. And that includes in big community events like the Washington County Fair, as put on by the Washington County Fair Association with its own board and fair manager. So, thank you. All right, so we have about 20 minutes to fit in our board communication. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first because it's just going to take a couple of minutes. As you heard from the county fair, we wrapped that up last Sunday, and I will ask Leah to give us a short report, and I'll forward that on to the board when I get that. Obviously, they are still in the process of taking down the fair, so a lot of work that has to be done. I was at the Saturday morning breakfast for the 4-Hers, and that's always great. And Pam stepped in for me on Sunday. And it's just fun to see those kids out there and see the parents and everything else that's going on. So that's always worthwhile. This year we changed it differently. I told you this, I think. We went Thursday and Friday lunch, and we went through all the hamburgers on both days. Yeah, that was very much appreciated as well. So that's turning into quite an event. As I said, I've got a couple of night out, Washington County night out activities tonight, and I'm not sure if they're going to happen. We were in all-day clean water services work session last Friday, and that was very educational. I enjoy those a lot. And tomorrow I have my interview with the Jail and Community Corrections Expansion, the DLR group. I have another COPAC executive session. And then, of course, we have roundtable on Thursday and Clean Water Services Rick's retirement party on Thursday afternoon. And then starting Friday, I will be out of office. That's all.
I'll go next. On Thursday of this last week, I had a really nice meeting with 2 students from my district who are looking for ways to become more engaged with county government and help the county facilitate more youth engagements. They have expressed an interest in coming to provide public testimony, and I also invited them to listen in to our August 11th work session on the district-aligned community groups and how they might engage at that level. I had a check-in with the auditor on Thursday as well, and then I went to North Plains for their National Night Out event. And, Commissioner Woolley was there as well. I'm going to try to make some tonight, but again, it'll be predicated upon the air quality issues. Friday, the all-day CWS work session was really good. I always appreciate the tours and the learning that happens there, and just being able to see the pre and post of the lab was very important. Yesterday, I also had the opportunity to have a meeting with Mr. Dale Feek. Thank you for doing that. Last night was our first acre meeting under the new bylaws. So I am reporting now as board liaison to acre. We had a follow-up from the language access framework presentation that we had last month, and this month it was to provide feedback in relationship to the structure that's being proposed. And it was a really good, engaging opportunity for everybody. They enjoyed it, and the feedback is being provided back to OAO right now. Tomorrow, I'm looking forward to my joint interview with Commissioner Willie and the DLR group on the jail and community corrections expansion project. I also have my first one-on-one with interim Chief Deputy John Chrysalis, as he's going to be my point person in the sheriff's office with Chief Deputy Wheaton out in training at the FBI. So we've got a lot going on there.
What's his name again?
John Chrysalis. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. So Thursday is our roundtable day, and I'm looking to make it to Rick's retirement party as well, and then be in attendance at the Urban Services Framework Town Hall that will be on Zoom with the chair and Commissioner Snyder.
So the way that goes is you'll be, you can attend, but you'll be off campus.
Yeah. Okay.
Just,
I just
yeah, I
want to
didn't
be
you
there
to
for support.
Yeah, no,
with
no,
my
I
name.
appreciate it.
And then on Friday, I'm going to be speaking at the grand reopening of the Juanita Pole Senior Center in Tualatin. I was the primary representative from the board on the PAB when that CDBG grant came through. So it'll be really fun to see all of the benefits that CDBG has brought to Juanita Pole over the years. So I'm excited about that. Thank you.
Cool. Who's next?
I can go next. We'll keep the line this way. Last week, I'll start with the jail expansion. I had my meeting with DLR, spoke about the jail expansion. It was a really good meeting, and I enjoyed hearing about their plans. And we really just mainly focused on answering the question of the community, why we need jail expansion now, and having really grounding the community. I think we all understand, but I wanted to that group to take away that we really have to tell the story to the community, that why we need it and why now. And then right after that, I had an opportunity to attend, and this is just turned into a over the weekend thing, but there was a kickoff for a Lemonade Day. I attended the Boys and Girls Club Lemonade Day event in Beaverton. They set up 20 lemonade stands across the Portland metro area. The proceeds from each stand were donated to a charity selected by the kids, and they took home portion as well. It was wonderful to see the collaboration between the teen leaders and the kids working the stand. They created their own business plan, logos, developed their lemonade flavors, and facilitated payments through POS machines. The kids were motivated to succeed and learn real skills that would help them succeed in the workforce. And then on Saturday, I also participated in an interview with the Boys and Girls Club CEO, Terry Johnson, where we talked about our first jobs and the impact that Lemonade Day has had our community in Washington County. I was proud to partake in this event and look forward to seeing them grow and provide even more opportunity for our youth. And then on Thursday, I had a really good meeting with Under Sheriff Cook. We really just mainly focused on the upcoming from the Sheriff's Office initiatives and projects and things, and then focused on some safety concerns. And in some investigations that they're doing. And I'll keep you as soon as I find out the results of that. And then Friday last week was Clean Water Services Day. It's always quite educational to get an update of what staff are working and potential topics that are coming in front of this board. I really do think that they make our job when these projects are in front of us look good. And it was great to see the Ripple project coming together. And I think it wasn't so subtle, but the subtle message was clear to me that the project is on budget and on schedule. And then on Monday, it was really a tough day. Congresswoman Bonamici held a listening session with community members around some of the held a listening session with community members that are impacted around ICE. And these were community members, young kids that their parents have been abducted, harmed, or eventually ended up dying. And then business owners that are still dealing with the impacts of that ICE activities. And then just meager watchers, people who have been boots on the ground. And it was really tough. And I commend the Congresswomen and appreciate and respect tremendously for creating that space and hearing the community members, but also at the same time problem solving and asking the hard questions of what more can I do? What can I do to help? So that was really hard. There were a lot of community, the room was full and had a lot of few electeds that were frontline on this issue in the room as well. So it was while it was hard and painful to hear the pain, the agony in people's, but it was also really good to see and to know that there are people who are healing our community, working to make our community better and hold ICE accountable. And that concludes my update.
All right, last Wednesday, I had a one-on-one with the county auditor. Thursday, I met with Chief Deputy McCrae. And then in the afternoon, went for an in-person meeting with Commissioner Savas and our respective transportation staff for planning on the Region 1 Act meeting, which happened last evening and went a little better than some of the prior ones. So we're putting a lot of effort into that, and I'll touch on another thing that we did in a moment. On Friday, obviously Clean Water Services work session. Monday, I had my regular one-on-one with the CWS general manager, and then we I would say the transportation staff and I and Bryn were brainstorming how to address the I don't know if I call it discontent, but uncomfortableness of the Region 1 Act participants from Washington County, because they feel like, you know, things are not organized at the Region 1 Act meetings, and they don't, you know, they're just not, they don't feel like they're getting prepared by the ODOT staff appropriately. So we actually conducted a prep meeting for them, very similar to the way we're doing the SHS pre-meetings with our attendees from Washington County, and that actually went really well. So I applaud our team for putting that together so quickly. I did attend it, and it went well. It was literally yesterday, a couple hours before the meeting. Let's see, the chair and I did also yesterday.
Are you having to do that with or without ODOT staff support?
That did not include ODOT staff, just like the SHS.
So their discomfort was around feeling they were not prepped by ODOT staff sufficiently, so folks are regrouping amongst themselves?
Yeah, that, and I think I reported a little bit on the dysfunction a couple months ago. We're continuing to give a lot of feedback to ODOT.
Yeah.
The county teams have been doing some sort of work in the interim to try to get, for example, the work plan together in a way that we all collectively could support it, because what was being produced was just not at the I would say, the level of specificity or thoughtfulness that
Yeah.
we expected. So all 4 counties actually joined together to work on that. And then this is just an extension of it as well. We are reporting to ODOT though that this, like all of what we're having to do to kind of band-aid solutions, is not tenable in the long run.
It's not sustainable.
Yes, and so that communication has been sent. In fact, and it will continue to be. And Commissioner Savas and I are planning processes with both the OTC and with the interim director, Chris Warner, who used to be a Region 1 Act member, which is helpful, maybe a little bit. So we're going to be continuing our interventions to try to move the needle there. But
Well, thank you for your leadership and the extra effort that this is taking to put in those necessary interventions.
so our Washington County team, I think, appreciated it, like the members from Sherwood, Tigard, Walton, et cetera. So we'll probably continue that until we don't need to do it anymore. Yesterday, the chair and I also did our final prep for the Urban Services Framework Town Hall for elected officials. We're ready to go. Tonight, I'm probably, if the weather stays or the air quality stays the way it is, I am probably not going to go out to the events that I planned to do. I do have some breathing challenges, so it's not, it's probably not something I'm going to do for 2 hours. Thursday, we obviously have our roundtable, and then the Urban Services Framework Town Hall for electeds, which I'm excited for. Friday, I will be at the grand reopening of the Juanita Pohl Senior Center in Tualatin. I think others, are you speaking? Is that okay? So Commissioner Tree speaking, and then I think a couple others are planning to attend. And then this Saturday, I have multiple constituent meetings as well. That's all I got. Sorry, I took almost my whole 5 minutes. That's unusual.
Well, I asked you some questions in there.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you. Last week, I went to the Clackamas County Recovery Center groundbreaking. It's really exciting for them. They were very reliant upon $10 million through Governor Kotek, $5 million through the state legislature, and $2.5 million through the federal delegation. Their center is very much like our Center for Addiction Triage and Treatment, but theirs includes in their 82 bed count transitional housing beds as well, whereas we have our separate Cornell transitional housing. But kudos to them. I went to support a fellow county because we know what a big lift it is. It'll be a great campus. Last week, I had my interview with the JC Project Consultant DLR. That was a great interview. This week, this Thursday, right after our roundtable, I have the interview with the National Center for Court Standards. So it means I won't get to go to Rick Shanley's send-off. So please give my regards and appreciation and well wishes for that. I'm a little sad about missing it, but a lot of good work is happening between or with each of the 2 agencies. I also want to say thank you in advance to my colleagues who have been reading the constituent info, both through our constituent weekly report as well as the constituent emails that we've received from us on the SIP agreement. I know it's taken a lot of time to read all that because I've done it. I also want to give kudos to LUT staff for the great responses on all the different projects. It happens every single week. But I want to say, particularly with both the East Main project, the intersection, as well as the Century Boulevard extension project, the responses are spot on for what the constituent is asking for. So it's not just one boilerplate in every single instance, which I really appreciate. And some of the back and forth people have on questions tries my patience. I would like to remind my fellow colleagues, there are 2 instances in this week's 177-page report where there are meetings with constituents that have not showed up on your calendars and external communications. And so it's pretty clear that the required processes are not being followed. So please follow through on that because it has an impact not only to your fellow colleagues, but also on staff. So please make sure you get on that more judiciously.
You don't have to say it now, but if one of those was me, certainly please pull me aside and let me know. So
It isn't.
okay.
It isn't, and this isn't the first time. So that's why I'm mentioning it in public. So I'm really looking forward to the presentation with the SIP agreement today. I've learned a lot and really appreciate all the work that staff has put in to get good quality information out there. So thank you very much. So that's it for board and leadership communication before we convene for our business meetings.
Could I ask a quick question here about the SIP? I noticed that there is an article in the Business Journal about this agreement, and I don't have a subscription, and I wondered if we could see that, please.
We're seeing head nods from the audience.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's it. We'll pause the work session here and reconvene at 1 o'clock. We have a very full afternoon agenda. And recall that I mentioned I'll be doing timing math with the board clerk for our Board of Commissioners meeting. Thank you.